Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to show and tell number 177. Whew. So this has been another busy week. I got a lot of stuff accomplished around the house. I've got some fun stuff in my bag to share with you guys. So I've been sharing with you guys that I'm doing the purge and clean of spaces that just need it. So my before picture of the guest room looked like this, and maybe I threw a picture of the closet up there too after I had started clearing stuff out. But now this is what my guest room looks like. So I could actually have somebody stay in that room and not feel guilty about it, not feel bad about it. The other thing I'm still waiting to do is in the living room down here, I still need to hang the curtains, and I ordered a curtain rod. It said it fit 72 to 112 inches, and my window's 78 inches. I ended up getting a 36 to 72. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but hopefully that'll be the last step for the bonus room down here, and I can be done with everything but the craft room. And the craft room I'm going to save towards probably next year, this time next year. The goal is to work through a lot of yarn stash. I want to sew a couple of things this year, so hopefully that will help me get this room prepped to go through a big reorg. I've reorganized my room quite a bit over the last year, but I've never gotten it clean enough to where I wanted to actually share with you guys what it looked like. So we're in the slow process. I will slow burn the craft room over the course of the year, because this is the one room where I don't really think I have anything I want to get rid of, but I have a lot of stuff that doesn't really have a home at this point. There, have been a couple of things that I've gotten rid of. Like I said, I purged some scrapbook paper and stuff, but other than stickers where I inherited a lot of stuff from other people, I'm not sure I have that much I want to filter out of the craft room. So I need to use a lot of stuff. That way we can make room to organize what I have remaining. So that was the work part of my week. What I ended up doing as far as my special projects and stuff right now. It's the beginning of the year. I'm still hyper motivated to get those things going. So I've got to find home for these. I have 2, 4, 6, 7 of these, and they're sticker ribbons, and I have 3 or 4 different color sets of these. They were for Halloween and 2017. I need to find homes for those with the Halloween craft stuff taking up room on my desk here. All right, the other order of business I want to just discuss with you guys real quick. So a number of you guys, now that I'm back in front of the cake wall, have asked for a quick walkthrough of what is here, so you know generally what it is. It's not as organized as it used to be, but we do have primarily, this is Premier and Premier yarn. So we have some of the DK cakes, that's what I was trying to avoid, DK color cakes up here on the top. These are sweet rolls here, and I used to have 5 times more. I've just been using them over the course of the last couple of years. We have some Premier Coffee Shop here. These are the Hobby Lobby cakes. That's some more of the coffee shop. This is Premier Butterfly. Yeah, Premier Butterfly. I have a lot of Premier cakes, if you can't tell. And then we're moving into discontinued yarns down at the bottom again. So many of the colorways of these have been discontinued, but the yarns are still available. So if you're looking for those, I do have an affiliate link for Premier in the description box down below. But I know particularly a couple of you guys are very interested in the green, and unfortunately I do believe that is a discontinued color. And as I plan on using that with the cherry red to make a Christmas blanket, I I'm not willing to part with that one right now, the green and the red. Anyway, just because I've had a couple of questions about it, and these are just a number of different brands, Knit Picks, Southern Skeins, Yarns, not Yarns to Die For, Cheers to You, their Hand-Dyed Diva line. This is another local company, and I can't remember their name off the top of my head. That is Wonderland from Frabjous Fibers. So, yeah. Okay, an eyelash poking me in the eye. It's like, ooh, what happened to your face? There's a face again. Anyway, it's one of those days. I'm already scatterbrained, and it's not even 10 a.m. yet. I have been up since 4. So, like, to be fair, it's like most people's lunchtime. It could have something to do with it. I might be hungry. I am actually filming Thursday, the 23rd of February. So, like, this is going to go up tonight. So, like, this is that same day trying to shove things in. And I tried to film yesterday, but I wasn't done before I went to Mass yesterday. I wasn't done with what I wanted to share with you, the big thing I wanted to share with you guys today. So I decided, instead of coming in here with ashes on my forehead and filming after Mass yesterday, I would wait and come in today. We have kicked off Lenten prayer shawl season, so every week we should have a new shawl. Technically this week I'm cheating just a little bit by a couple rows. I never did finish the shawl that I did my low drop, shallow drop triangle shawl. I never did finish that. I never touched it again after I filmed that tutorial. So that's actually going to be shawl number 1. I do have my mandalas and cupcakes that I only have 2 of in my basket. So, and we are doing marled shawls with these. So plans are already in place. So I'm going to slide my big project to the side, and we're going to talk about everything else in my basket, which is still a lot. I got a lot done on the Addi this week. I did send back my 22 needle Addi, or I'm going to take it to UPS today. Mine was broken. I tried to spin the wheel with nothing on it, and it every third needle would jam. And then when I finally got that to kind of smooth out, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just stiff. Let's rotate through here. Every time I tried to put yarn on it, it would get hung and create massive tucks. And it wasn't that the stitches were getting tucked. The needles were actually splitting the yarn, and it would get hung, a loop of it would get hung on either side of the needle. So I don't know if there was a burr in there or what, but about 20 rows in, every time, no matter what I used, it was getting hung. So I just, and it was still getting stuck trying to rotate the wheel. So I sent that back. I will probably be replacing it here shortly. I have a couple things that I really wanted to use the 22 needle for, but we'll have to wait. So I do have a bunch of things that I cranked out on the Addi King. First off, we do have a scrap square. These are my DK weight corner to corner squares, using 2 DK or sport weight yarns held together using a size J crochet hook. These are 14 row corner to corners. This is going to be a king size blanket for my bed. I think that's the only square I had. So we have a set, which I think turned out adorable. This is an I Love This Yarn Prince. This is one of the ones that there was only a single skein of that color in the stash that Erica gave me. So I made a 100 row cowl and an ear warmer. This is Premier Basics in Lemon. So what I actually do for these is I do the 50 rows in the, I do the ear warmer first. So it's 50-50. This time I use the C closure to make the faux knot there. I think that's the C. Let's turn it inside out and double check. If I can find the... Yeah, this isn't the W. It's got to be the C. Anyway. So I do this first. And then I come over here and I do a tube. It needs to at least be 100 rows. But because I do this first, I can take this to, say, 120, 125 rows. I do a crocheted closure on each side and then do a mattress stitch to close up the back. But I think this one was 125 rows for the cowl. And then the ear warmer, which that makes it look like 5 times bigger than it actually is on my head. Anyway, I think these are super cute. I really like doing the sets like this with these single skein marls like that, or single skein variegateds. I've been having a lot of fun. Like I said, the last week, the one I shared, I'm keeping that one for me because I really like the colors in that one. But I also think this one is just super adorable. And I think this is like painted grass or something like that's the colorway, which was a really apt name for it. I have one more. I love this yarn Prince single, and I haven't picked a yarn to go with it yet because the colors in it are kind of weird. It's not pink, but it's not red. It's not blue, but it's not purple. And I can't quite figure out what to pair it with. But this one was easy to pair off. I do have another bubblegum set. Once again, I was playing with the striped infinity scarf. So this one is 30 rows, 12 rows, 12 rows, 4 rows, 12 rows, 12 rows, 100 rows. And to go with that, we have a reversible hat. Once again, I'm trying to figure out, like, do I want to do a permanent affixed pom, a movable pom? So I left the tails in case I want to do a tie-on pom, because I will use these to tie on a tie-on pom. I will like tie the tie from the pom to this to create the closure. The stitch count did get a little off. I'm not quite sure how, but we do actually have a pink ridge on the brim for the pink side. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. But it's okay. So we have another cotton candy set. You guys are not going to believe the numbers, by the way. I may have to do an every other month check-in for yarn craft goals just because of how fast some of these goals are going. It's a lot faster than I thought. Like, I've already made like 15 hats this year. I knew at the Addi things would go quickly. I just wasn't quite expecting them to go this quickly. And actually, I'm going to set these over to this side. Toss them in that basket because these go, I've got a bin for that now. So in the back of the guest room closet, when I showed you the picture of that finish, you'll see the totes that are stacked there. Those are all donation things. That's like where I'm sorting those things to go. So I had, when I was cleaning the bonus room and going through the bonus room and just kind of like, once again, laying hands on things and getting rid of things that are unfortunately not in good condition anymore. I had some homemade baskets, one that my grandfather's wife made, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I've loved it for years. I have definitely gotten 20 years worth of love out of this basket, but it's falling apart, like literally falling apart. So I finally like cleared that out, and I've been, you know, occasionally, like I've used it for yarn projects. I've used it just to tote things around the house. It's had multiple different purposes in our home for many, many years now. My mom had it before me, so it had, you know, like 10 years of use before I had it. I've used it for 20 years. So as much as it hurt me to get rid of it, the handle's falling off, the bottom's falling out of it. It's dried out quite a bit over the years. The wood itself has dried out, and it's starting to actually like fall apart. So I had to go ahead and get rid of it. One of the things that I had sitting in that basket were some sport weight skeins. So this is a Bernat Baby Sport in Peach Blossom and Fintech Sport or Baby Sport in Lavender. I had done some preemie hats and some preemie blankets and some preemie sweaters in these yarns. I know exactly why they were open. I know where they came from. Like, this had been in my stash. Actually, both of these had probably been in my stash for like a good 12 years. So like, they're cute and I love them, but I did decide to play with them on the Addi because they're open skeins. They were the huge skeins. So like, I think they're 12-ounce skeins. So like, once they're open, all they're going to do is make a mess. So I caked them, but then once again, they're now rolling around unstable, unusable in their current state. So let's crank off some stuff. I wanted to play with some sport yarn on the Addi anyway. So instead of working from the basket I set aside of stuff I cleared off my wall, I did some other things. So I'd use the box closure on this one because it is a solid color hat. I don't need to be able to make this reversible, so I did the box closure on this one. I will try to link somebody's tutorial to it, but if you look for square closure or box closure, they're all over YouTube. I don't know who I used to do this because I just saw it and then started doing it because it made perfect sense how to do it. So I don't know who I specifically was inspired to start using this closure for. Somebody else asked about that, and I will try to link somebody down below. But if you just look up square closure or box closure for machine knit hats, it pops right up. But I do like the way that looks, and there's a ridiculous amount of stretch in this hat. So the next one we have here is a two-tone. And once again, I don't know if my counter has been off or if I'm sewing these differently that I'm ending up with the bicolor ridge. Okay, this one did pull out. But I cinched this one as I did, I might want to put a palm on it, make it fully reversible. I don't know. But we have another hat that also has quite a bit of stretch in it. I did an ear warmer. This one I did the W closure instead of the C closure. We have another reversible hat. And just remember, these were open skeins and 2 of them. That's it. That's all that went into this because we still have more. So this is 2 held together. It was a little clunky. And you can see the texture. It wanted to keep one yarn in the front the whole time, and then it's turned into a speckle, which I think ends up looking really, really cool. But it is weird how that you just have the purple kind of randomly showing up. Now, when you stretch the fabric, you can definitely see a lot more of that. But we have a little cowl here. Then, once again, I played with my striping set. This one was 30, 15, 15, 5, 15, 15. And then I did 100 stitches coming around. And once again, this ended up being like the Karen party one and with the Hygge, where we just have this light, beautiful texture in this. I really, really like how this turned out. I think that's super cute, especially with like the little headband. I'm getting really into the ear warmer headband thing. I'm not going to lie. So the next thing I did, the last thing I did with these is I did a long infinity scarf. And this is 150 rows, I believe. No, it's going to be more than 150 rows. Because that would be 100. So it's 200 rows in each color. So we have a huge long infinity scarf that you can wrap yourself up with. And once again, I think that's super cute with the little ear warmer. So I am really impressed with how far this went. And when I think, like, this doesn't seem like that much stuff. Like, for how long I feel like I cranked stuff in the last 2 weeks, like, this doesn't feel like that much stuff. And then I realized, like, this alone to hand knit would have taken me a week. I would have gotten bored and just not wanted to work on it every day, or, you know, something else. But, you know, I cranked these in free time over the course of the last 2 weeks. And then I sat down and finally watched the Lula Rich documentary and finished all of these off, just doing the seaming and weaving and ends and stuff. So we have 3 scarves, 3 hats, and an ear warmer out of just 2 leftover skeins that were sitting there. So I am pretty excited about just that part. But you guys, we're gonna move that out of the way there because I'm gonna need the space. So I did a thing. This is why I was so excited to share with you guys my works in progress that I never got around to filming, because I ended up with a migraine and it's come back twice now. But I made a thing. I am so excited about this thing. I am ridiculously excited about this thing. So this is a blanket using tubes from the Addi. My tubes are 300 rows each. I finished them not using the slip stitch closure where you seam them together to close the tubes. I actually went through the back of each loop and made a single crochet in it because I knew I wanted to come around and do a single crochet border on this. And let me just tell you, this border took me forever. And it's so basic. It shouldn't have felt like it took me so long, but it did. It took me like 3 nights plus yesterday morning. So this is Premier Ultraviolet, Premier Anti-Pilling Ultraviolet. This is Mary Maxim Starlet and Coral. Premier Basics and Lemon. These 2 are Ice Favorite. So this is like a hot pink and a turquoise. And this is Loops and Thread Impeccable in moss green, I believe. So this whole thing started because of my 2 bubblegum colors. I realized I could do a 300 row tube, which for me, unstretched is about 5 feet. Stretched is about 6. That's long enough to make a blanket. And I just kept coming in here and adding bright colors to my blanket. So only these 2 came out of the stuff I was intending to use on the Addi this month. The other 4 colors came off the yarn wall just because they were there. It did not take very long, obviously, to crank out the tubes. Now, joining these tubes took forever. So this is a slip stitch join. You guys will have seen this because that's how a lot of people close their tubes if you're up on the Addi stuff. You literally stick your hook in a loop on one side and stick it through your other piece and draw it through and go back and forth, literally slip stitching your pieces together. That's what it looks like from the front. I think the back is even cooler looking because it creates this braid effect back here. So I had to do that to join all of my pieces together. Then I took some more Ice Favorite, and this is a weird tan color. I originally had planned on making hats out of the blue, pink, and tan together. So I did that. Then I did a single crochet row of each color to do my border. So that added, you know, another 3 inches total on the blanket. But it is so ridiculously snuggly. across the top, because I close these with single crochets, that's why we have a ridge here. From back here, you can actually see it better. But that's why there's a ridge before we get to the actual border, is because there is an actual single crochet in at the end of these. I did not perfectly do this because this is not something like I watched any tutorial on how to do. So I did not perfectly do this, but I'm going to make another one. I'm going to do one in pastels next, just because I had some pastels. Like, no real reason other than the fact I just happen to have the pastels. But I'm so happy with this. I am so happy with how this turned out. I am over the moon. It took me like no time compared to like other blankets that I've made recently. It took me no time to make this, and I'm absolutely ecstatic with how this turned out. And it's just so happy. The colors are so happy. On the long side here, I did a single crochet. It was a single, 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 skip, single, single, single. So 3 and then a skip. So it was a 4-stitch thing. But that's just what worked even without puckering on my blanket. I am so happy. I love how this turned out, and it just is so happy. I still haven't finished my spring blanket from last year, so like, but I have a spring summer blanket for this year, and it's just warm enough. Like, even the double layer, I mean, it's a little heavy for right now. Right now it's like 80 degrees today, hence the t-shirt. So like, we don't have the air on, we don't have the heat on, we just have the fans going. Until today, I had the windows open, but the pollen kicked off today, so the windows are now closed. But when it hits like summertime, we vacillate between being stupid hot and stupid cold in the house. So even in the summertime, we tend to have blankets, and I'm one of those people that has to have a blanket to sleep. So I have my own personal blanket now. Not that I didn't already have personal blankets, but I have my own personal, obnoxiously bright and colorful blanket. Carrie and her amazing Technicolor blanket. Yes, I'm excited. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. I will try to get a picture of the whole thing laid out so you can see it all laid out. But, I mean, it's just tubes. It's just... I think the most impressive part is how the border turned out. I just love the way that turned out. And I wanted to not have the same order in the blanket. So that's why we started with the yellow, even though I think I would have preferred to start with one of the brighter colors. But I am so excited. I did not plan on making a blanket this early on. That was not the goal, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. No, I'm not. So anyway, that is what I finished this week. I am still working on my sweater. We do seem to have a better fit. I've already split for the sleeves and everything. So I'm a couple inches down onto my rib cage now. So we still seem to have a good fit. We're going to keep rolling with this size. I did go down to a large size in that sweater. It's the brick pattern. I went down to the large and I dropped my needle size. So that's giving me just a little bit more to... I almost think it would have been better if I dropped down 2 needle sizes and 1 size. Because I think that would have tightened the stitches up enough to where we wouldn't get too much stretching in the stitches. I don't think it's that bad right now, but we'll see how it continues to go. Anyway, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. I love you guys, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye, guys.